the Venezuelan capital once again became the center of international attention as President Nicolás Maduro addressed journalists in a press conference that carried both symbolism and political intent. In a country where the struggle over sovereignty, surveillance and alliances has defined much of its modern politics, Maduro seized the opportunity to showcase what he described as a symbol of defiance against foreign interference, a mobile phone gifted to him personally by Chinese President Xi Jinping. As cameras zoomed in, the Venezuelan leader raised the device, a Huawei smartphone, declaring it not only the best in the world, but also beyond the reach of foreign surveillance. With his characteristic mix of confidence and defiance, Maduro transformed what could have been a simple moment into a pointed statement directed at Washington and the wider international community. I receive everything here. The phone that Xi Jinping, Chinese president, gave me. Xi Jinping gifted me this, a Huawei. Look, the best phone in the world, the Huawei, and it cannot be tapped, not even by the gringos, nor by spy planes, nor by satellites. The president's words, delivered firmly in Spanish and later circulated widely through Venezuelan state television and international news agencies, immediately set the tone of the press conference. It was not merely about technology, it was about trust, sovereignty, and the alliances Venezuela has cultivated to counter what it sees as US pressure. Maduro's reference to Xi Jinping was more than an anecdote about a personal gift. It was a calculated political message. The Venezuelan leader has long emphasized his country's strategic partnership with China, framing Beijing as an ally willing to stand up to what Caracas describes as Washington's ongoing economic and political aggression. By holding up the phone in front of reporters, Maduro symbolically aligned Venezuela's technological future with China's rise in the digital sphere. He stressed that the gift was not simply a tool of communication, but a guarantee of independence, something he insists is at constant risk from what he describes as foreign surveillance operations. In Latin American political discourse, the notion of US interference has been a recurring theme for decades, shaping the rhetoric of leaders across the region. For Maduro, invoking the idea that his communications could be targeted by spy planes or satellites played directly into the narrative that Venezuela is under constant external threat. Maduro's comments also tapped into broader global concerns about surveillance in the digital age. Across the world, debates about who controls data, how communications can be intercepted, and which technologies can provide true privacy have intensified. In Venezuela, these issues resonate even more strongly due to the country's tense relationship with the United States. Maduro has often accused Washington of conducting espionage and plotting against his government, citing alleged cyber operations, intelligence gathering, and even coup attempts. Against this backdrop, a phone that he claims cannot be intercepted becomes more than a personal gadget. It becomes a statement of national resilience. The mention of gringos, a colloquial reference to Americans, was deliberate. Maduro used it not only to criticize the US, but also to connect with his domestic audience, reinforcing the image of Venezuela as a nation resisting imperial pressure. The message was clear. Even in an era where advanced technologies make it possible to listen in, monitor and track, Venezuela's leadership has tools that protect its sovereignty. This moment also unfolded against the backdrop of Venezuela's ongoing diplomatic and economic crisis. International sanctions, political isolation, and internal challenges have shaped Maduro's presidency. In this environment, alliances with powers such as China and Russia have been central to his government's survival strategy. The phone from Xi Jinping served as a tangible reminder of this relationship. In Beijing, Huawei has become both a technological giant and a political symbol. The company has faced heavy restrictions from the United States and its allies, accused of being a potential vehicle for espionage. Washington has long pressured other nations to avoid Huawei equipment, particularly in sensitive sectors like telecommunications infrastructure. Maduro's public endorsement of Huawei, therefore, was no coincidence. By praising it as the best phone in the world, he signaled both political loyalty to Beijing and defiance toward Washington's warnings. His claim that the device cannot be tapped underscored the message: Venezuela trusts Chinese technology as a shield against US power. Although Xi Jinping was not present in Caracas, his name was mentioned repeatedly, underscoring the depth of the bilateral relationship. For China, Venezuela represents both a political partner in Latin America and a market for its technological and economic outreach. The gift of the phone may appear modest compared to multi-billion-dollar oil deals or infrastructure investments, But in diplomatic terms, symbolic gestures often carry significant weight. For Maduro, invoking Xi's personal role in gifting the device elevated the moment beyond mere propaganda. It suggested that the relationship between the two leaders is direct and personal. In the eyes of Venezuelan officials, such personal ties reinforce the credibility of alliances that extend far beyond state-to-state agreements. Maduro has long been known for his theatrical style in public appearances. From dancing on stage to addressing massive rallies with fiery rhetoric, he has often used symbolism to reinforce political points. This press conference was no exception. By dramatically holding up the Huawei device, pausing to let cameras capture the moment, and then launching into a speech about its security, he ensured that the image would circulate globally. State television repeated the clip multiple times, while international agencies quickly picked it up, making it headline news in outlets across Latin America, Europe, and Asia. The optics were carefully crafted. A president under siege, yet standing firm with the backing of a global superpower. The message was not only for domestic audiences, but also for international observers who continue to watch Venezuela's geopolitical maneuvers closely. Inside Venezuela, reactions to Maduro's statement reflected the country's political divide. Supporters celebrated it as proof of the president's strong alliances and his determination to shield the nation from US control. They praised the connection with China and framed the phone as a symbol of independence. Critics, however, dismissed the episode as another distraction from Venezuela's ongoing economic and humanitarian crisis. For them, a new phone, gifted or not, did little to address inflation, shortages, or the challenges ordinary Venezuelans face daily. Yet even among critics, the political weight of the gesture was undeniable. In a country where symbolism often carries as much power as policy, Maduro's theatrics resonated in ways that extended beyond the practical. Beyond Venezuela, the incident sparked discussion about the role of technology in geopolitics. Huawei, already a focal point of tension between China and the West, once again found itself in the headlines. Analysts noted that Maduro's endorsement could embolden other countries in Latin America to deepen their ties with Huawei despite US pressure. At the same time, Washington is likely to view such moments as further evidence of Beijing's growing influence in a region historically seen as within the US sphere of influence. The convergence of geopolitics, technology, and symbolism was evident. A phone gifted in Beijing became a diplomatic tool in Caracas and a headline across the globe. As the press conference drew to a close, Maduro's words lingered. The cameras captured his expression as he lowered the phone, still smiling slightly, aware that he had created a powerful image. For those present, the moment was clear. This was not merely about a device, but about the broader story of Venezuela's place in the world. A president under pressure, standing with an ally, declaring technological independence in an era defined by surveillance and power politics. In the end, Maduro's statement, delivered with certainty and framed in the language of resistance, captured the essence of his political strategy. By elevating the personal gift into a national symbol, he reminded both his supporters and his opponents that for him, every gesture is political, every moment is theatre, and every word is carefully chosen to reinforce the narrative of sovereignty against foreign domination. And so, as the Venezuelan leader's words echoed beyond the conference hall, one phrase in particular remained engraved in the headlines, carrying with it all the weight of symbolism and defiance. Look, the best phone in the world, the Huawei, and it cannot be tapped, not even by the gringos, nor by spy planes, nor by satellites.
Impresionante. A mí me llega todo por aquí. El teléfono que me regaló, mira, Xi Jinping. ¿Tú me lo regaló Xi Jinping?
República Bolivariana de Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro Moros. Muchísimas gracias a todos.